Yo, what up, what up? So basically it's talking about what is mental problems, mental illness, what do you want to call it? What is a mental illness? We'll just say what a mental illness is because it's different, whatever. But like, we'll say like mental illness. What is a mental illness? And it pretty much is common sense what a mental illness is. Like, I think we all know what I think everybody kind of don't know what the fuck the mental illness really is. But man, like, anytime you do for the devil, that's a mental illness. Anytime you know, I'm not saying like, okay, you're mentally ill if you know, imperfect and you really into Jesus' kingdom fully, in God's kingdom fully, and really doing your thing for God and holding it down for the commandment. I'm not gonna say that's a mental illness. That's not a mental illness. So people have it twisted. A lot of people think that's a mental illness right there. Is when you hold it down for God and the rub like Jesus, and you spread the truth and speak truth, and that's a mental illness. Thinking that's a mental illness. So there's a lot of that get into all that too. But like, yeah. So like, what is mental illness? And you understand. Who was the first person? Who was the first thing created with a mental illness? It was the devil. The devil was created to be mentally ill. The devil was schizophrenic. The devil was bipolar. The devil had all these mental issues. Everything stems from that, the fallen angels, and demonic spirits and demons, like demons, fallen angels, and Satan. So you understand, demons work to make people mentally ill. And what is mental illness? Following lies, following, delusions. That's what it is of Satan. It's following the devil. Following Satan is mental illness. Following demons, following now, like I said, like, I'm not saying like, okay, let's say I was, be imperfect in whatever way, like I'm a human being type stuff. That doesn't fall in the category of mental illness, because I'm still, chosen by God to, I would put that in the, category as like, just sin, just like whatever sin like that's, and you still can be blameless, like with that, you have to understand what being blameless is. Doesn't mean you'll be perfect, but it's like an example, like let's say I was to, busting nut or something like that. That's like, whatever. But I'm not gonna categorize that as like. Now some people like they do that and it's like mental illness, but like it all comes down to like, okay, like, who are you fighting for? Are you fighting for the devil, or are you fighting for God and the Lord like Jesus? So if you fighting for the devil, if you on this earth fighting for Satan, that's a mental illness you have. And that's what we have in this world. The majority, 99.99% of the people on this earth are fighting for religion, fighting for pagan Christianity, for the white Jesus, for the false white Jesus, the pagan white Jesus, fighting for, they Christian title, they whatever religion title they have, whether it's a Muslim, being Jewish, or whatever the fuck, Jew, whatever the fuck, or there's so many religions, like, but Catholic, stuff like that, like, that's, I can name a bunch, like Jehovah's Witness, Buddhism, I said Muslim, I said Christianity, I said what else religions are there? There's so many religions, but like Mormon, like what the hell, like what the fuck? But following all that is mental illness, because you following Satan. So we gotta understand that falls in the category of mental illness. Religion is psychosis. Religion is psychosis because God didn't design us to follow a religion. God designed us to worship Him, not a religion. God designed us to follow Him, not Christianity, not religion. We were designed to follow God, not religion. And and also, like, you gotta understand, like, what really puts it in these people's mind to have that. I understand, like, there's a difference between having things in your mind run through your mind and hearing voices or whatever. I did a video on that, like, stuff running in your mind, like thoughts and voices, whatever you want to call it. There's a difference between that and actually acting upon all that stuff. Now, when you act upon that stuff and you actually believe in all that delusions, like Christianity, religion, the world, etc., you are mentally ill. You are mentally ill, and that's an issue you have. And, God does not have anything to do with that stuff. Like, God ain't forgiving. If you selling your soul to that stuff, if you actually into all that stuff, God ain't gonna forget. God ain't letting you into heaven, because you can't follow Christianity and expect to be in heaven, because Christianity has nothing to do with heaven. Christianity is the total opposite of the kingdom of heaven, of God's kingdom, of Jesus' kingdom. So, yeah, you can't put God in a box and say, oh, God's this, God's that, to a that. So that's also a mental illness too, is putting God in a box. There's a lot that get into it, but not understanding God for what he is and the truth of what God really is, that's a mental illness. And that's all Christianity and religion does. It's like, that's all that does. So it's like, why would I allow that to, manifest? And I'm glitching. But, no, for real, like, so also thinking, like I said in the beginning, thinking people are mentally crazy for fighting for God, like, that's a mental illness. And I would rather follow God's truth and what God says than what person that just, come on, like, why would I listen to a random person based off, who are they? I don't even know these people in these weird, these facilities people end up in, mental facilities and stuff like that, and whatever, you don't even know them, and they want to judge you and say, oh, this, that, diagnose you, stuff like that. And they know nothing about your situation. All you do is talk for a little bit, and they just simply, that's mental illness right there. So that's their mental illness. The system is designed to support mental illness. If you look at it, like, if you really use your common sense, the whole mental health system is mental illness. It's not mental health. It's the opposite of mental health. It supports mental illness, meaning it is a mental illness. Yeah, I understand. The word is backwards. The word is of Satan. So if the word is of Satan, that means that whole structure is demonic, and they are mentally ill. They are mentally ill because they're in control. If the word is of Satan, the people in control are going to be the ones who are the devil. So that's what people got to understand too, is like, so that's a mental illness in itself. Is the whole system is creating all that, is supporting all that. And brainwashing too is mental illness. So, like, if someone's brainwashed by some type of by the government is pushing out mental illness. They're trying to make everybody mentally ill. That's their agenda. And what they're saying is that, you're mentally ill for going against the brainwashing. In actuality, they're trying to get you to be mentally ill by saying that, by making you think going against brainwashing is mental illness. And they be like, oh, yeah, you need to listen to us. And who are they to just tell you to listen to them? Like, they don't have no relationship with God. They're slow and retarded. Like, they slow and retarded. Like, these I call them witch doctors. Don't listen to them. Don't listen. The majority of them ain't even about their business for God. So some, I'm not going to say all of them ain't going to, because God could do anything. So God could use anybody he wants. But it's very rare for someone to like fully submit to God and come in the kingdom. Like they could even still be used, but it doesn't mean they're gonna still commit to God fully, you know. So that's what I want to say about that. Is like, and like I said in that one video, is like, who is the judge? And you gotta understand, if we're judging about mental illness, the judge is not no psychiatrist or doctor, or which psychiatrist or which doctor or which judge or whatever the hell, whoever it is about that's trying to. So in this time about the mental illness thing, those are not the ones that well, I'm glitching. But yeah, like, that's what I want to say about that. Is like, this whole devil matrix system, like I said, I'm gonna repeat again, it supports the whole mental illness. It is mental illness. This whole system, it crafts this mental illness, and that's what brainwashing is. You know, that's what brainwashing is. It's like, let's say I'm open-minded about stuff, like about truth topics and stuff like that. The system, what they gotta do is just be stupid. Like, mental illness is stupidity. So one thing I know about atheism and all that stuff, it's just called stupidity. It's called stupidity. It's not even atheism. It's just called being stupid. It's just called being stupid. Like, and that's what the devil created. Is just like, you know, instead of like, you know, yeah, like science and stuff like that, it's all that pretty much is just stupidity. It's just called retardism. It's like some South Park retardism type shit. That's what it is. So like, that's what I want to say about that. So science is a mental illness, because instead of them digging deep into detail, they don't dig deep into nothing. They just say, oh yeah, pop, and that's it. What I'm glitching. But they just say like, okay, yeah, this is this, and you can't question nothing. You can't dig deep into detail. You have to believe what we believe in, or you're, you know, mentally ill type stuff. If you don't believe in what we believe in, that means you're mentally ill. So that actually is trying to create a mental illness. What it's about, like power, control, whatever you want to call it, it's bigger than just power, control, and money. It's actually like literally Satan doing that stuff. So it's like, that's what it is. That's what it's been the whole time. Is like, you know, all that stuff. It pretty much that's what it is. So that's what I want to say about that. And what else I want to say about this whole mental illness topic. It is more stuff. I'll think about more stuff. I'll do another part to this. But yeah, like, who's the creator of mental illness? God is the creator of mental illness. But here's the thing. God designed the devil to be the ruler of that, to have that role. So God's the creator of it, but the devil rules over it. And that's the deal the devil made with God, to be able to have that, you know, lies and all that deceit and stuff. Like, so, and there's a lot to get into. It's like, but yeah, you know, it's called, you know, it's just how it's structured. And that's what I really want to say in this video. So let me say much for peace.